So how do you follow up runaway successes like 2001's Grand Theft Auto 3 and 2002's GTA Vice City? I mean, GTA created the formula and Vice City gave it that sense of style. But San Andreas takes the series to a new level by taking the action statewide and providing a delirious amount of variety in its gameplay. I'm just going to touch on a few key points here. If you're looking for the full story, I recommend reading our full review. But the one thing you need to know is this: San Andreas does a fantastic job of living up to the Grand Theft Auto name. In fact, it's arguably the best in the series. Without saying too much about the game's story, it deserves to be said that the characters you meet along the storyline of San Andreas are some of the best parts of the game. They're terrifically portrayed by a skilled cast of voice actors, and they lead you down a number of really memorable storylines throughout the game. There are plenty of high points, but the one worthy of special mention is James Woods, who plays a character named Mike Torino. James Woods turns in a great performance, and he has some fantastic dialogue to work with. The game drops you into the Los Angeles-like Los Santos, and here the game introduces you to many of its new features. You'll ride a BMX bike almost immediately, for example, and later on you'll become embroiled in a deep turf war with the other gangs of the region. Once you leave Los Santos, the game takes on a more traditional Grand Theft Auto type of feel, relying solely on completing missions to progress the story. They'll seem pretty familiar if you know the series well. You'll drive people around, beat people up, perform drive-by shootings and the like, as well as the occasional casino heist and seizure of secret military hardware. There's been a lot of talk over some of the game's new features, particularly CJ's new ability to gain weight, stay in shape, build muscle, and so on. It's all true. You need to work out in order for CJ to perform his best in activities such as sprinting, jumping, and swimming. The good news is, as much impact as it can have on your performance and look in the game, the work you need to put into it is really quite small. Over time, CJ will develop a number of other stats as well. Respect is a big one. While you won't get money from every single mission you complete, you will almost always gain respect, which affects your ability to recruit some members of your gang to roll alongside you. You'll also gain skill in wielding each weapon in the game, as well as different vehicle categories such as cars, boats, airplanes, and motorcycles. In the case of weapons, it will increase your range and accuracy, and ultimately it'll let you dual wield some weapons, while the vehicle stats largely tighten up the controls for you. Overall, the statistics have a solid impact on the gameplay with minimal need for management, and rarely, if ever, stand in the way of progress. The gameplay in San Andreas is a lot like the previous games in the series, but in a lot of ways it's more refined. The missions are less frustrating because they do a better job of letting you know what you're supposed to do and where you need to go to do it. The main story arc is lengthy, and just sticking to the main plot will sign you up for a 30 to 35 hour experience. If you're one of those people that just like to learn the cheat codes and cause as much chaos as possible, San Andreas has a lot to offer you as well, though you should probably try to progress in the story far enough to open up the bridges that connect the game's three cities. The PlayStation 2 isn't getting any younger, and neither is the engine that powers San Andreas, but the developers have managed to squeeze out a little more power here, and the resulting product looks pretty fantastic. A number of effects, from the heat wash of a dry sunny day to the gritty film grain look of a rainy one, do a lot to set apart the game's three primary locales and the outlying territory in between. The cities all look great and do a lot to match their real-world counterparts, and the countryside in between gives a fresh face to the consistently urban-inspired look of the series. Countering that great look is a fairly unstable frame rate, but the game always runs at a playable speed. When you combine the good with the bad, San Andreas still looks really great overall. The audio in the game is no slouch either. As mentioned previously, the voice work and the script are both top-notch. While the in-car radio soundtrack isn't quite as inspired as that of Vice City, it has a number of high points, such as the hip-hop station in the city of Los Santos. Other sounds, such as the prattle of pedestrians around the city, the unique sound of each vehicle's engine, and the satisfying sounds of gunfire, all round out the game's audio quite well. Historically, games that have tried to do a million things tend to just end up as a disorganized mess. San Andreas, however, manages to pack in a lot of varied action, and better still, it does almost all of it really, really well. The story is great, the characters are memorable, and above all, it's just insanely fun to play. To sum it all up, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is a thrill ride that shouldn't be missed.